welcome the Honourable Benjamin Ben Carroll. Melbourne's transport network will look like 20 years from now on.
Airport Rail Link.
Yeah.
Connecting our airport all the way to the city, world-class infrastructure underground. So the Metro Tunnel was an incredibly complex project. It's the missing link of our transport infrastructure in Victoria, and I think it's such an important project for our state and our country. We've been calling for this for over 100 years. Soon all of our buses will be zero emissions buses. Artificial intelligence is a massive change that's going to happen. It can help different people's jobs that little bit easier. So it's about embracing AI in a positive way, but making sure it isn't used in a negative way.
Welcome back to the Kiddo Explores channel. We just don't watch the world move. We're unpacking the engineering systems and people that make all it happen. Today we have a truly special guest chatting with us today. I'm sitting down with someone who plays a huge role in Victoria and runs every day, from the classrooms we learn in to the roads and public transport. He's the member of the Generative Deputy Premier of Victoria, serving alongside the Premier Jacinta Allen, the Deputy Leader of Victorian Labor Party, the Minister for Education, the Minister for Medical Research, the Minister for WorkSafe and Attack. He has also previously had major portfolios including public transport and roads, helping Victoria moving safely and calmly. Please welcome the Honourable Benjamin Ben Carroll.
Thank you, Shriram. It's great to be here on your Kiddo Explores video and being interviewed by you.
Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
The pleasure's all mine. I'm looking forward to talking about our great state, Victoria, about people and how we function as a state with you.
Yeah. Minister, before we talk about trains, trams, schools, artificial intelligence, and all the big challenges facing Victoria today, I'd love to learn a bit of your journey.
So I went to school in Airport West and I went to St. Christopher's Primary School. And I know you're at Essendon Primary School, so two schools that are close by. And then I went to St. Bernard's College. And then I went on to university and I studied some university degrees. And then I trained as a lawyer for a little while. And then I wanted to serve my local community. So I went into public service and I'm really pleased. I think I've got the best job in the world right now because I'm the education minister. And that means I get to have a really big say on your education and your school that you go to. And most importantly, making sure everyone knows our most important resource, Shriram, is people like you who are our future. So I feel like I've benefited from education and I want you to benefit from it too.
Minister, you grew up in Airport West with a mother who's a teacher and a father who's an electrician. You also started working while still in school. Looking back on those early experiences in those days, what lessons have stayed with you the most and how did they shape your approach to leadership and public service as the Deputy Premier?
Sure, Shriram. Look, the biggest lesson I've learned is that the harder you work, the luckier you are. You know, there's no substitute for hard work. And that was something my mum and dad. Mum worked as a sort of business manager at a primary school, and my dad was an electrician, and they both instilled in me that to work hard. You are right. I was asked to go out and work part-time at Kmart Airport West at 9 months, and I stayed there for 8 years. So I always combined work, study, and just tried to put the best foot forward I could.
Wait, in Kmart like a employee cashier?
That is a good question. So I started off as on the checkouts as a cashier. I then went into the menswear section, and then I finished in what was called the sound and vision section, selling TVs, compact discs back then, videos and things like that. And I love still going up to Kmart up at Westfield and seeing many of my old friends who are still there. So they're doing a great job.
And maybe also a bit of shopping.
Bit of shopping too. We all like a bit of shopping, and the retail sector is a pretty important part of our economy.
Yeah. When you first entered the parliament in 2012, what surprised you about most of the leadership and government that people outside politics rarely see?
You know what? The thing I think that surprised me, and probably the biggest lesson that I think I've ever learned, is that good communicators are good listeners. And, it's often said we've got two ears and one mouth. We've really got to be listening, and you've really got to be paying attention to the people you're meeting with and being present with them. Everyone knows you can't solve every problem, Shriram, but if they know you've really been engaged and you've done your best for them, everyone can walk away saying, well, what else could we have done?
Yeah, as someone who loves trains and trams, I always wondered, what do you think Melbourne's transport network will look like for 20 years from now on?
Well, I think, well and truly, as a tram going past us right now, we'll have more modern trams on our network. But really important, an airport rail link, connecting our airport all the way to the city and the city all the way to the airport, and really making sure that people along that route can go to the airport or the city. It's the missing link of our transport infrastructure in Victoria, and I think it's such an important project for our state and our country.
Yeah. First I thought it was ever going to start from Sunshine, but instead out of the metro tunnel.
Yes, so it's what's so unique is it will connect from the airport to all of our metropolitan trains, but then going through Sunshine, it will connect with our regional trains too. So it's really important. And as you know, whether it's the Grand Prix, the cricket, the tennis, Melbourne is an international city, and we've got to get that airport rail link built.
We better, or else people will just be starving with Uber or Skybus.
That's exactly right. And we want them, on public transport and doing a good thing for the environment as well.
Roads versus rail.
We've got to have both. Roads are really important when you think about our ring road, when you think about the Westgate Bridge, the Westgate Tunnel. They're really important, but equally too, we have to have public transport. Public transport is good for tackling what's called emissions and transport emissions and helping the environment. And as you know, our government, we're doing everything we can to encourage people on the public transport. Students go free, seniors go for free on weekends, and it's half price till the end of the year. So we've invested a lot in public transport. I want to make sure people are using it.
So we also need roads for our buses and trams.
We certainly do. And our buses are an important part of our transport network. And for young people like you, soon all of our buses will be zero emissions buses, which means they'll all be electric. So they'll be quiet, smoother, better for the environment. You could ride your bike behind one and not have any of the emissions coming into you. It will be really important. And, we're lucky in Melbourne. Not every city has buses, trams and trains. It adds to a complex system, but it is best having those different modes of transport.
Yeah. The nearby companies like the CDC Depot are starting to receive electric buses, but can they take on those smart bus routes or already just got them?
That is a good question. Look, smart bus routes are really important. And you know what? I was talking to the public transport minister just this week about what can we do to maybe have more smart bus routes where the buses go more direct, they're taking more passengers, and they're really economically valuable and good value for our taxpayers. So, yeah, I think, buses, they say for every dollar invested in buses, it's $5 return to the Victorian community because they're cheaper to get going. They use the existing road network. So, yeah, buses are a big part of our future.
Yeah. Well, the most rated smart bus is definitely 901.
That's the big long route, isn't it? Oh,
To Melbourne Airport.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever been on it?
A good amount of time.
Yeah. It's pretty good, isn't it? You really get, for a cheap fare, you can really cover a lot and go to the airport.
Yeah. But when that rail link comes, I think everyone might have to touch their mic on again.
I think you're right. I think the airport rail loop will be a very popular train system.
May be too overcrowded.
I hope not. I think it'll have new trains, and we do want more and more people using it, because that means it's been very financially good investment, the more people that are using it as well.
But I think what trains that are going to serve the rail link are definitely those HCMTs.
Yeah. High capacity metro trains. You know your trains.
I definitely know.
We do. You know your transport. And it's a great career being in our transport system. So we've got, our train network. And you know what? It's one of the great things we do here. We make the trains locally. So we make them in places like Dandenong, in Ballarat, all being made locally. So that's local manufacturing jobs, and then going onto our network to support Victorians to get around.
Yeah, that was actually cool. Families in Melbourne Northwest have been waiting for decades of the Melbourne Airport Rail that has been delayed for a very long time. What impact do you think this project will have on local communities and future generations?
Look, the biggest impact it will have is it will bring public transport to parts of the northwest of Melbourne that don't have them. It's amazing, Shriram, that you and I are sitting here right now, just 15 kilometres from the Melbourne CBD, but we don't have a train within walking distance. And that, with the new East Keilor station, that will mean we'll have a train serving Keilor Park, Airport West and East Keilor for the very first time. And do you know, Shriram, people have been calling for this for over 100 years. Yep, it's been. So the city of Keilor did a study back in 1925 calling for the electrification of what's called the Albion East Line, the line from Melbourne Airport to Sunshine. And now we're doing it. So it's exciting. And you'll be the beneficiary of it the most.
Yes. At Airport West, I don't even know if the airport rail line is going to dunk over the steel gauge line with the Albury Freight and the Sydney XPT.
That's it. That is the same route. So it's going to run right along that route.
I don't know if it's going to dunk underground.
It'll probably be above ground and adjacent, side by side, the Albion East Line.
And I believe there's also going to be a new Tottenham, the new Sunshine that's already been built, and the new Albion.
That's exactly right. Brand new stations. So they'll have all the best for Victorians to park their cars at, to get a good coffee at, to be disability accessible. Really important investments.
Later in the years when you get the coffee, and if a sudden V-Line train is honking its horn, don't try to spill your coffee on the track.
No, don't do that. You want to make sure you drink your coffee, you don't spill it. So got to be careful.
Better be looking after our environment.
That's exactly right as well. Yes. Not too many takeaway coffees, hey? Or use them in a reusable cup.
Or just put them in a jam donuts packet if it's empty.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
The public sees a finished railway bridge or a level crossing removal project, but not the work underneath. What is the most complex engineering challenge that people never see?
Wow. So the Metro Tunnel was an incredibly complex project because you had to connect it to an existing Metro Tunnel and you had to build it under our river systems like the Yarra. And then they use what's called tunnel boring machines that are going underground. So I think they're definitely the most complex because you're basically doing world-class infrastructure underground. So engineers, and you might be an engineer one day, are very talented people.
Yeah. And I also think the Metro Tunnel's under the last pair of City Loop tracks, the Yarra River, and also under the Swanston Street corridor, and also junctioning up with the Caulfield lines and just all CBTC.
That is exactly right. It is all connected. So it's a wonderful investment. And people like you, young people, are going to be the beneficiaries because I suspect you're going to go to university one day and it's going to link up all our universities to our train systems.
Maybe because I'm going to become a train driver when I grow up.
Is that what you're thinking about doing? Train driver? Wow, okay.
So I'm definitely going to stay back here after a few years.
Oh, good.
Hopefully, except for holidays, so I can manage rush hour.
Yes. Well, hopefully we've got more train drivers and more trains too to help us all manage rush hour.
Like, the most complex yard in the state is like West Melbourne and the Macaulay siding.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Sister, I like to move from transport to education. Trams students at Essendon Primary. I see the firsthand how important safe roads, quality facilities, and great teachers are for students.
Our teachers are the best teachers in Australia. Your teachers at Essendon Primary School are the best we have in the country. And what I'm really proud is, soon, they'll be the best paid teachers. Because our children, like yourself, Shriram, our society demands the best teachers. Our futures are written in the classroom. And teachers don't just teach, they believe in you, they build you up, they care for you, they put their heart into your education, and they have the most complex and difficult job there is. So we need to support them and make sure we give them every resource to help you, our future generation.
And also we have to find more roles for more CRTs at more schools.
Well, that is a very good question. So our education support staff, and as you would be aware, so many of our schools now run breakfast programs, dental support, glasses for kids, a lot of early intervention supports, after-hours school care, and our education support staff, a big load comes on their shoulders supporting teachers and students. So having more of them in our classes is something we're really focused on.
Yeah, my school actually contains before school care and after school care and breakfast club in the morning.
Well, it's pretty hard to concentrate if you haven't had breakfast, don't you reckon?
Yeah. It's only applies on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. What do you like for breakfast?
Cereal.
Cereal? What sort of cereal?
Wait. Nutri-Grain.
Oh, Nutri-Grain, good stuff.
But time to time, if I'm ever in there, I'll just take a jelly cup and an apple juice and an apple and just dip out of there.
Oh, good stuff. Grain food, I call that.
Yeah.
Apples.
You've held major transport portfolios. Now you lead Victoria's education system. Which portfolio has been more challenging and why?
Look, they've all had their different challenges. I ran public transport during the pandemic when people weren't using the transport system, and we need to make sure we supported the businesses that were running it. We also need to make sure that our essential workers could go to work and that people that didn't have a car could get the vaccine that they needed. So that was challenging. In education, there's always different challenges, but I like to rise to the challenge because I know what an important role it is. And I'm really keen to try and get more funding support for our public schools and also really work to get our teachers and support staff a good, decent pay rise.
As an everyday student at Essendon Primary School, I see many students walking, cycling, biking, or even using public transport or being dropped off by car every day. How do traffic engineers and road safety experts decide where to introduce school safety zones, new crossing, reduced speed limits, and other measures to keep students safe around school?
Well, that's a really important measure because we want people and parents, when there are so many children around a school, it's really important that we have crossing supervisors to help you cross the road safely, but we also have reduced speed limits to make sure parents are driving at an appropriate speed for people that are dropping off and picking up, and they're quite a complex little busy place around schools. So we want to make sure that everyone's really focused, not distracted, that they know children are crossing the road with an adult, a supervisor, and they want you to slow down and make sure that the children can get out of the car and into the car safely.
Maybe Brewster Street has to get a bit more advice of that, since the 503 bus also runs through there. It could pop out of any time.
Yes, it's a popular Essendon primary school. It's a popular area there, and you're right near the Essendon Footy Club. Lots of shops, so lots of people not only just going to the school, but also some of those nearby amenities as well.
Yeah. Students spend a large part of their day outside the classroom as well. How does education department decide which schools receive funding for upgraded playgrounds, sporting facilities, and outdoor learning spaces with other improvements?
We try and fund upgrades at all of our schools. We've done nearly 2,500 upgrades at about nearly 1,250 schools. So we're doing upgrades all the time. We also realise how it is important for a healthy body, healthy mind, that there are basketball courts, downball courts, ovals for football, cricket, soccer pitches. So whenever we're building new schools or upgrading new schools, we always make sure that we do everything we can to make sure physical activity is a big component of the school curriculum.
Like this year, early 2026, when the new playground opened, we got a new basketball court, a new playground, and even Aboriginal people's logos of the meeting place and all those stuff. The soccer pitch remained. Every single classroom remained.
That's really important, Shriram, that we combine the old with the new, but we also do recognise our long history and our Aboriginal people as being the very first students we had at school, and recognise them they were on this land as students many thousands of years ago.
SM Primary School has a long history from the 1850s, and many schools across Victoria are heritage schools. How do you balance preserving these historic schools while also ensuring students have access to modern facilities, technology, and learning environments?
That's a good question. So many of our schools, like Essendon Primary, that are nearly 150 years old, we have to make sure that we continue to maintain them. Often they have heritage listing, so they must be dealt with in a special way. But because many of them are so old and so big, we have to put in new air conditioning. We sometimes have to put in dividing walls to make the classroom as perfect as possible for learning. We sometimes have to put in different sensors in them. We sometimes have to build lifts in them because they were designed many years ago without disability compliance in mind. So we're updating our older schools as well as building new ones too.
I'm actually studying at the oldest school in the world, I predict.
It's a beautiful old school, Essendon Primary, beautiful red brick school. I love those.
Yeah. And at the Assembly Parapet area, there's an old arch displaying too many names.
Oh,
Aboriginal and World War I people.
Yep. So it recognises history too, which is important.
Yeah. You helped introduce the Australian framework for generative AI in schools. Some people believe AI will transform learning, while others worry it could encourage cheating and reduce critical thinking. How do you balance innovation with responsibility while protecting students' privacy?
So you're right. It will have many positives, but AI will present some negatives as well. So we do have to get the balance right. Artificial intelligence is a massive change that's going to happen. We have to embrace it and how it can assist us, but it will never replace plumbers, people like my dad, electricians, nurses. But we have to be mindful, though, it can help different people's jobs that little bit easier. So it's about embracing AI in a positive way, but making sure it isn't used in a negative way, such as cheating during school examinations.
And also, AI is just coming everywhere.
Yes, exactly.
It will only just be me just searching up for maths equations, just on free chat or any work.
That's exactly right. Yep.
AI can now generate lesson plans, answer questions, and analyze data. Looking ahead in the 10 years, what is something a great teacher can provide technology will never replace?
Well, I think a great teacher can provide creativity, empathy. They can provide patience. They can provide belief and lifting you up and motivating you and creativity and heart. I mean, teachers bring so many human skills that are so important for young people's knowledge and building them up as good citizens.
Yeah. Well, back at school, we can only use Google AI, but since ChatGPT has been banned last term for us, but back at home on my mother's computer on my school account, I can use Google AI and ChatGPT. I have no idea how that works.
Wow. Well, they're really important parts of our research system. I still think getting the book out, going to the library, that's where your imagination comes alive.
Yeah, my imagination would only be like creativity and drawing.
Yeah, I think that's very useful. You've got a good balance there.
Many of the future jobs in my generation will do not even exist. What skills should students focus on today to stay successful in an AI-powered world?
Well, it really is important that students continue to learn STEM subjects, so science, technology, engineering, and maths. I think these are subjects that really give you all those really important foundational skills to be a train driver, like you said earlier, Shriram, or to be an astronaut or an engineer, to work on our transport system. They're really important subjects for the future.
My generation growing up is surrounded by smartphones, social media, endless notifications, drawing, and creativity, and all those stuff. Competing our attention. What habits should young people build if they want to become creators of technology rather than simply consuming it?
And we want to make sure that young people know that the smartphone can be put away in the locker. It does not have to come to school, that your focus needs to be on your schoolwork and on your classroom teacher. And we also want you to have your youth, your childhood. Like, they weren't around smartphones when I was your age. So I was always playing football and cricket and just having a good time out in the community. Whereas today, smartphones are so popular everywhere, and we've just got to be mindful that they don't overtake our lives.
Yeah, and there's also some chats in random apps that's being sent to principals around schools.
Yeah, and that's changing. That's the thing, like social media, apps. I bet your mum's probably on an app for the school. I'm on different apps. They are changing how we navigate and work. They are positive, but we've also got to be mindful we're not looking at our phones all the time as well.
Yeah. The only reason you're allowed to have phones in your pockets is because of diabetes. My school, some classmates in 560, which is my class, has a phone so he can get his messages and also do some diabetes stuff.
And that's it. There will always be exceptions that for health reasons, medical reasons, people do need their phones with them. And we need to make sure we cater for those students too.
Yeah. Leadership often makes things difficult decisions that not everyone agrees with. How do you handle criticism and stay focused on the bigger picture?
Well, I mean, you handle criticism. It really depends. Well, how do you take the criticism? It really is how you digest it. And for me, I just will say, well, that's their opinion. It doesn't mean it's fact or truthful. As long as I'm doing what I can to help them, to be a good communicator, a good listener, listening to the stories like you of the people I'm meeting, and then trying with conviction help and support them. That's all you can ask.
If a student is watching today, dreams of becoming an engineer, teacher, entrepreneur, politician, or even a premier one day, what advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them would be, as I said earlier, to be curious, to truly believe in what you're doing, to also think of others, and to be present with people, and to always think, how would you like to be treated if you were on that other person? So to be curious, to be empathetic, and always supporting everybody you need to.
When your career in public service is eventually complete, what impact do you hope the future generations of Victorians will remember you for?
Look, I think, because a lot of people raised this with me, I think I'll be remembered for some of the reforms I did around reading, making sure we've got best practice in every classroom, making sure our students are taught to read by phonics, that is, sounding out the letters and the words and extracting meaning. I think I'm putting a real emphasis on the science of learning, how we teach our kids. So pedagogy, how we teach our kids, I think will be probably the number one impact, followed by best paid teachers and fully funding our public schools. Number 3.
Before we wrap up today's interview, I have one final challenge for you. It's time for the Kiddo Explores rapid fire round. The rules are simple. I'll ask a series of quick questions and you give the first answer that comes into your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Shriram.
Trains or trams?
Trams.
AFL or cricket?
AFL.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Books or podcasts?
Ooh. That is hard for me. I'm going to say books. I love podcasts though.
Morning or night?
Morning.
Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Favorite school subject?
Politics.
One word that describes Victoria?
Education.
Minister, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your insights on leadership, transport, education, and technology in the future of Victoria.
Thank you, Shriram, for the interview. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone watching. If you enjoyed the conversation, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm Shriram. Let's keep exploring. See you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.